Welcome in, Cameron. How are you today? I am good. Oh, Twitch says 20. Oh. Yes, happy WrestleMania weekend. What a week to be alive, huh? So the plan for this stream is that we are going to be playing, or we're going to be talking about WrestleMania for a first little bit, and then we're going to head off into the Xbox land. Oh wait, hold on, you can't hear me very well, hold on. There we are. Yeah, so the first plan for the stream is to talk about a little bit about WrestleMania, and then we're going to talk more, after that, we're going to play some WrestleMania 21. But WrestleMania 21 doesn't run very well, so I would fully expect the game to crash all the time. Anyway, we will be live. Well, we are live, but we'll be actually live very, very shortly. welcome, welcome, welcome. I have had a haircut. I just had a haircut this morning and I'm so itchy as a result. I'm going for the minimalist look today. So we're having a simple stream with no lights in the background and cat toy hanging off the chair because the cat's a little rambunctious. But yes, welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be talking about WrestleMania. Of course, it is WrestleMania week. Let's turn that music down just a tiny bit. So yeah, we're going to be talking about WrestleMania 42. 42. My good God. Now, I think my first WrestleMania was like... I think my first WrestleMania was like 18? 19 maybe? Oh my God. It was one of them. The first WrestleMania I think I actually properly watched live might have been WrestleMania 20. I own 19 on DVD. I remember that much. I guess there's no way of knowing like actual matches. You can't search for actual matches on WWE.com. Guess not. All right, so we're all set up here. So let's talk. Let's run through the matches, shall we? So, night one, the first match of WrestleMania 42 is going to be McIntyre versus Jacob Fatu. Now, of course, these two people have been going at it for quite some time. I do like that they are they're going ham at each other. Is this set up? Oh, ignore that. These two beefy boys have been going at it for quite a while now, I think. And I guess it all kind of came to a head on that episode of SmackDown a couple weeks ago where the two of them were just constantly fighting each other. To the point where they dropped each other off of a scaffolding, essentially jumped off a building, as you do. I'm expecting this match to go pretty good. It could be the opener, or no, it's not the opener, because we know that the 6-man tag is opening the show. So Drew and Fatu, I think they're going to tear the house down. I've never noticed these graphics before. The SmackDown Hotel. Shout out to the SmackDown Hotel, by the way. But yeah, I don't need to read all this. Unsanctioned means no rules, no protection, and uncontrolled bedlam. All right, good to know. The WrestleMania match preview. So, like, you can go to previous matches, but you can't. There's no like hub for all the matches, which is a bit weird. So, I'm gonna have to like keep going back and forth, I guess. The next match on the card will be the 6-man tag, right? With I Show Speed. Yeah, Logan Paul, Austin Theory. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, who are the tag team champions now. I Show Speed versus Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. Now, this match seems weird, right? I don't know if it's just me, but like WWE can't decide what's going on here in terms of the storyline, because these two just won the tag team titles the other week, and I feel like now that might be a thing of like they're going to WrestleMania, so they should have the belts. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those things where I think they changed the titles in response to like, we need to show these titles on WrestleMania. Speed being in there is actually okay. I don't mind Speed. I don't watch him. It's not my type of stuff that I would like to watch, but he seems like a decent guy. I think he's put in the time. I know that he had like a YouTube show where he was like training with Randy Orton or something to become a wrestler, so I do appreciate that to some regard. The Usos, though, the storyline has been so weird for the Usos because WWE can't seem to decide what to do with the Usos at this point, because it's like a couple of weeks ago they were demanding an apology from CM Punk, and it was like they turned heel, and they even changed their music. That's how I genuinely think they turned heel, because the whole storyline here, before Speed showed up, the storyline before that was, can LA Knight actually trust the Usos? Because they're acting like the Bloodline. And it just seems like a really weird storyline that's played out now, because the first half of the storyline was, can the Usos be trusted because they're part of the Bloodline? And then Speed comes in, and then that's basically just disregarded. Their music changed to this really weird remix that nobody particularly liked, and you weren't able to yeet to it, which again, I think the fact that you couldn't yeet to the new music makes me think that they did turn heel. But now they're back to their original-ish music. It says it's just us, Us, and you can yeet to that day one-ish, I guess. And yeah, that's the storyline that's playing out. So I do think that Logan Paul, Speed, in theory, are going to win this match. It probably shouldn't be much of a surprise to anyone, I guess. The tag team champions need to get a win. The Usos maybe don't need the win. Maybe. Yeah, I think if I was to put, if I was to choose who I think is going to win this kind of match, I don't really see any value. And if anything, maybe that storyline is still playing out with the Usos and LA Knight. So if anything, you could maybe pay off that storyline and say, hey, let's pull the trigger on the Usos turning heel on LA Knight that allows Paul and Speed to get the win. That makes some sense. So let's see how that kind of turns out. I do not have a graphics set up. So I probably should figure that one out. Next up is the women's. It's a fatal four-way tag team match. Oh no, my music is stopping. Help. Oh. It might just be that track. Let's see. Yeah, so we've got a whole smorgasbord, I think is a word. A whole bunch of people that are in this tag team match. So the women's tag team champions here are Nia Jax, Lash Legend. They're going up against the Bellas. Now, I would have thought that would just be the match. The tag team championships on the line against the Bella Twins, but it seems like, for whatever reason, did we decide not to do that? Now, admittedly, they do have the storyline with Flair and Bliss versus Bayley and Valkyria, so you may as well, instead of having two tag matches, maybe put that into one big match. I don't know how I feel necessarily about the Bellas being in this match, especially with the fact that, let's be real, they're most likely to win, I guess. Are Bella Twins, I don't know what are they what? Yeah, the Bella Twins are in this match. They're most likely to win it. Are they cleared? I have no idea. I would they haven't not advertised them, and even then, to get put into a tag team match, I would assume is easier on the body than a regular match. Like tag team, especially a four-way tag team match. Like I'm sure there's ways that they can get the Bellas in this match, even if they are somehow injured. honestly, I can't even imagine anyone else winning this match. It's either going to be Lash and Lash and Legend? It's going to be Lash and Nia retaining their titles, or it's going to be the Bella Twins, because I just don't see a world where the others win, and I mean, it would be fine, you know, it would be an awesome moment, I would imagine, but like, I just don't see it happening. Maybe that's me, but I don't think that Flair and Bliss are doing particularly well as a tag team, well enough to get that kind of title rub. And Bayley and Valkyria, I think, are, I don't know, maybe they're just like gonna break up at some point. I feel like Bayley and Lyra are always like just one loss away from losing. They're cool with each other, and they're maybe gonna like split up, but you're never quite. It's never clear what's gonna happen. And like Bayley's been like character flipping a lot recently, so who knows what's gonna happen? Beyond WrestleMania. So for some reason, these guys have different graphics. I noticed this on the tag team match. These guys have different background graphics from the others. Probably doesn't mean anything, but it's just there's a lot of graphics going about this year. Okay, so AJ Lee at her first WrestleMania in like 10 years probably. Was this 42, 32? It was, I think her last WrestleMania was like 31, no? Was it not was that 31? Maybe, I don't know. Isn't that the tag match where she faced Paige or something? Either way, AJ Lee won the Intercontinental Championship off Becky Lynch quite recently. I think it was at Elimination Chamber, right? And Becky's looking to regain that Women's Intercontinental Championship. Now, part of me thinks that I think she's not here for a long time. She's here for a good time, right? I feel like these matches that she's having, they're not particularly great. You know, she's only had a couple matches, and I don't think they're amazing. But then she's probably just as good as she was when she left. This is a harsh thing to say. I'm sorry, but I know a lot of people really like AJ Lee, but I just feel like people have rose-tinted glasses as to how good AJ was. AJ was around when there were no women's wrestlers. They weren't good at what they do. I mean, there was Natalia, and there was a couple others in there like Naomi and stuff, but AJ Lee comes from a time when they were divas and they were just models, and they were doing like 2-minute matches, and even AJ herself had really short matches, so you didn't get to see the flaws. But you know, 10 years ago, if you put AJ into a 15-minute 20-minute match, maybe you would start to see those flaws as well. I mean, the people that she was facing, like Alicia Fox and that, I cannot imagine a 15-minute Alicia Fox match. That would be hell. But the point I'm trying to make is a lot of people are criticizing AJ Lee for her performances recently, but I think she is as good now as she has been for the last 10 years. Saying that, she's not been wrestling, but I don't see any improvement. I don't see any degradation either. It's not like she's terrible. But I just don't. I don't get the hype. I guess that's maybe like a me thing. I don't know how I feel about the match in general. I don't know how I feel about Becky AJ on the card. I think it's a high profile match, and I do think there needs to be a high profile women's match on there. I guess there are 3, right? 4 if you include the tag match, because all the women's titles are on the line except the United States Championship. I don't even know who holds the Women's United States Championship these days. So, hey, it's going to be a good match, I think. There's always somebody to ruin the fun, huh? I guess I didn't see what the prediction would be, I would imagine AJ is probably going to win, right? It'd be easy for, I mean, it's a tricky match to predict because after WrestleMania, Becky's on Raw, right? Becky is on Raw. Well, she might not be, but usually Becky's on Raw every single week, and she's got stuff to do after the fact. AJ can go away for 6 months or however long she needs to go away for, and then she comes back and she gets a big pop because she's kind of that legend status. Not to say that Becky isn't a legend, but I just feel like losing here would have a bigger effect on Becky than it would on AJ. So Becky could potentially win, but AJ's could also retain. I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. I guess if I'm good, I'll just predict AJ, right? I have to go into prediction. I'm gonna say AJ Lee because I think it would hurt Becky, but whatever. I'm not gonna linger on it anymore. I'm really struggling to predict that one. I think that's going to be a really weird match to predict because, yeah. Anyway, talking of weird matches, we've got Gunther versus Seth Rollins, which is a match that has essentially no build-up whatsoever, right? There's essentially just nothing to this. Seth Rollins comes back and he attacks Paul Heyman, and then this is a new picture of Seth Rollins, actually. But anyway, Seth comes back, attacks Paul Heyman, and he says, I'm going to destroy the Vision, even though the Vision's already destroyed due to injuries. And then Gunther attacks Rollins and then basically says to Paul Heyman, you owe me one. So now Seth is distracted against Gunther. And I guess the culmination, the end point of the storyline, right? This match probably means nothing. Realistically, this means nothing, right? I think Gunther's gonna win. I'm not even gonna debate Seth Rollins winning this match because he's not. Gunther wins this match, and then he builds to SummerSlam in Minneapolis, and Gunther dethrones the Beast. I think he's gonna beat Brock Lesnar in his retirement match, and that'll be that at SummerSlam. They're laying the foundations here, I think, where Gunther defeats Seth Rollins, and again, maybe on Raw, we have the exact same thing of we are going to have Gunther and Paul Heyman in a promo again. Gunther's going to say, look, you owe me one before, but now Seth is actually gone and we are moving on from this and you owe me a big one. And then at SummerSlam, Gunther goes, right, you owe me one, I want the Beast at SummerSlam. The main event at SummerSlam, Gunther, Brock Lesnar. Gunther gets the win, Brock Lesnar fucks off, and then we move on with our lives. And this match means nothing. It is a ley line, a gateway to SummerSlam, which isn't for 6 months. So realistically, none of this matters. Like, I think it'll be a good match regardless. Like, it'll be fun. The two of them are obviously going to put on a great match. Regardless of how good or bad the storyline build has been, I do think the two of them are going to put on a classic. They're going to put on a really good match. So, worst case scenario, we get a good match out of it. What else is on the Monday card, or the Saturday card tomorrow? Liv Morgan and Vicaire. So Morgan Vicaire has been a very strange storyline as well, where they've been quite physical with each other through the whole storyline. So the whole basis of the storyline, I guess, is who won the Rumble, actually, now that I think about it. Oh, Liv Morgan won the Rumble. So I guess the idea was that Liv could have faced Jade, or she could have faced Vicaire. I guess Vicaire is probably the better choice. Alan Gunther should go over. I think he does. Yeah, so Liv Morgan wins the Royal Rumble. She challenges Vicaire, and it's kind of become like the two of them are just beefing with each other to the highest degree, which is, it's interesting because this storyline's been going on for a while, right? Not necessarily this specific storyline, but I think that if you were to ask Triple H, what is the backstory of this match, and he's going to say, well, if you do what we do for 300 days a year, and yeah, he'll waffle on. But anyway, Stephanie Vaquer has been facing Raquel Rodriguez for the better part of 8 months. Like, I think every match towards the end of last year and the start of this year had been Stephanie Vaquer and Raquel Rodriguez to some extent, even to the point of like having like the hat they were in. Were they in Elimination Chamber together? But they were in the street fight together. They were in tag matches together. They were just facing each other, just regular matches. And yeah, it's been on repeat for the long time. And even now, with I guess Raquel's kind of disappeared from TV a little bit, because Liv eliminated Raquel from the Rumble to win the Rumble, I guess. Not in the final, but just during the match. So I definitely think that this storyline's been building for a while. If you were to ask me, I guess it started at the Rumble and it's kind of just dragged on since then. I do appreciate what they're doing though. It's been quite a physical fight so far. Obviously, they haven't really exchanged a lot of words, and there was this really strange promo that happened in the middle where Liv Morgan had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole, and Vaquer comes out and she starts speaking, I guess she starts speaking Chilean, right? Or Spanish or whatever Dom speaks as a second language. And she's and Vaquer's saying all these really hurtful things. Like she's saying like I don't know what she's saying, but like your mom's a whore or whatever. She's saying really horrible stuff. And Liv goes off crying. Like Stephanie Vaquer had a promo so mean that the heel started crying. And there was this really weird couple weeks where you were like, is Liv Morgan the heel? Like, I don't understand what's going on here, because Liv is now crying in a corner and Vaquer is going to WrestleMania. It was a really weird situation. I don't know what happened. Either way, here we are now. Vaquer just the other week threw Liv into Roxanne and gave each other massive bumps on the top of their heads. So it'd be funny if they come out at WrestleMania with like giant inflatable heads, I guess. Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. Dirty Dom to turn on Liv Allen. I mean, I don't think Dom's involved in this. I think he's too busy with his own stuff. I don't think we're going to see any. If we're going to see Judgment Day interfere in this match, I think it's going to be from Roxanne and Raquel. I would imagine so anyway. And I was going to say Vaquer probably will overcome that. I think Vaquer will overcome. It's tough. It's tough actually, now that I think about it. Because if Vaquer overcomes here and she defeats the Judgment Day, retains the title, does that then lead into Naomi coming back? Naomi defeating Vaquer for that World Heavyweight Championship? Possibly. It's very possible. The alternative then is Liv takes the title because she won the Rumble. She would take the title here and she has a good title run with it. And then Naomi faces Liv for the title. But then, is there a storyline involved here? Is there a storyline worth telling in regards to Liv Morgan and Naomi for the World Heavyweight title? Maybe there is. I'm not sure. The storyline would make more sense with Vaquer and Naomi. But then that's if Naomi comes back as a heel, which she probably won't, I guess. Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead. It's interesting, but I'm gonna throw out my 2 cents here and say that Vaquer is probably gonna win, which is really unfortunate because it means that Liv will be a Royal Rumble winner who then goes on to lose at WrestleMania. But realistically, I just when I lay out the dominoes in my head, I just don't think Vaquer losing is the right move. But hey, we shall see. That leads us to the WrestleMania 42 main event, night 1 main event, I should say, which is Cody Raheem Rhodes versus Randall Keith Orton, with the assistance of Pat McAfee. Now, look, I am in the minority here. I'm in the minority. I don't mind Pat. I actually quite like Pat. I especially quite like Pat as a manager for Randy Orton. Now, I'm not without my reservations, right? I don't understand why they've done this with Pat. I don't know why Pat is cutting promos on TKO and CM Punk when we should be talking about the main event of WrestleMania. Like, don't get me wrong, this thing is so weird. Like, the whole thing is just weird. But I do think it's actually being quite good to some extent. I think the promos that have involved Cody and Pat head to head, or Orton and Cody head to head, they have been so good. And like Orton becoming like the villain again and destroying Matt Cardona and destroying Cody and doing his thing. I just think Pat being shoehorned into the storyline hasn't been great. And I think the promos he's cutting about like the ticket sales and don't watch night 2 because it's rubbish, and like I think that Pat's promos would have been better served if he just focused on the main event of WrestleMania, which would be talking about specifically Cody and Orton, in my opinion. Welcome in. I don't know how to say that. Afansim? Yeah, welcome in. We're just yapping about WrestleMania at this point. I was talking to my friend the other day about this, and I really do think that there is a good possibility that Orton wins this match. I think it justifies everything Pat's saying. I think it puts Cody back on the back burner in terms of Cody is very good at chasing that title, and I think that might be what, like, Cody's title run has been perfectly fine. I know a lot of people don't like Cody. That's because like people are flip-floppy and they don't like certain things. Yeah, they I think Cody is probably better chasing the title at the moment than holding it. And I think the cracks in Cody's character are starting to show, right? Well, maybe not now, but they previously were starting to show, and we're building towards a Cody heel run. And I think Cody's heel title run will be much better. And I think he's going to start to realize as well. The thing about Cody is he's such a goody two shoes that Orton being heel and aligning with Pat McAfee, which Cody thinks is completely wrong, is going to lead to Orton winning the title. And it's going to lead to Cody realizing that to get, like, The Rock is right. Everything The Rock has said last year was correct. Was it last year or the year before? Everything The Rock said was correct. Cody needs to turn heel to get what he wants, which is to be a dominant champion, which he currently can't do because he's too good. And I think actually Sami Zayn's storyline is also part of this. And this is what I like about current WWE, is all these interconnected webs. Sami has turned heel and he's getting what he wants. By Sami turning, we're going to talk about Sami shortly, but by Sami turning heel and cheating, he has won the United States champion and he's getting to WrestleMania at the detriment of Carmelo Hayes. Sami doesn't care. He cut a promo saying he doesn't give a fuck about that. And it's like, I think Cody, being the goody two shoes that he is, has been trying to keep Sami in that kind of like, keep doing what you're doing, keep the grind up, and you'll get what you want eventually. And Sami's like, no, I'm going to take it into my own hands, and he's seeing the rewards of that. And I think Cody is going to be in the same boat of, there's going to be a point in time when Cody has to make a choice. And he's going, you know, it kind of happened at WrestleMania as well. At WrestleMania, he had the opportunity to hit Cena with the belt, and he didn't take it, which ended up with Cody losing the WWE Championship at WrestleMania last year. And I think that's the story. I think that's the story here. Is there's a longer story going on. I think Cody is going to realize that he needs to turn heel to get what he wants. And this match, I think he's going to get screwed to high heaven by Pat McAfee, and Jelly Roll is also involved in this match. So I do think Orton gets the win here. And I do think that Cody is going to have a really rough couple months of trying to get the belt back afterwards. Sorry, I have a text message. Oh, cool. That's a funny text message. I will respond to that shortly. Yeah, so that's the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. We're moving into WrestleMania Night 2, which is opening with possibly the biggest match they could possibly do. He doesn't have a name yet, does he? Oh no, the Ruler versus the Beast. What a match. What a match. This is going to be incredible. I think the build for this match has been incredible. I think Oba, the storyline that they've told has been so good in terms of like the two of them want to fight really bad, and they've been destroying each other for weeks now. But the fact that they needed to sign the contract has been so interesting. It's an interesting facet to the storyline. So the idea that Oba had a sparring, promo sparring contest with Paul Heyman is so interesting, because Oba talking is like, okay, let me reframe this. Actually, me and my fiance were talking about this watching Raw we watched Raw the other day because we're behind. But Oba Femi is the total package. Oba Femi has the look, he has the entrance, he's got the crowd reaction, his matches are intense, and his promos are true. And I think he is the total package, and I think Brock has already done an amazing job at selling for the big guy. And I think it's important that I think it's important to go into the match with the idea that Oba is the future, but Brock is still the Beast. And I really wonder here, because there's an argument to be made about Brock winning this match. There's an argument to be made about Oba winning this match. I think it's going to be a very tricky thing to narrow, to get right. If this match plays out like a typical Brock Lesnar match, Brock Lesnar destroys Oba Femi, Oba gets no moves in at all, it's literally just Brock destroying Oba, I think it's going to go down terribly. The crowd's going to boo. It's going to set a terrible tone for WrestleMania moving forward for the rest of the show, because this is the match that's opening night 2. I think if Brock likewise wins the match, but Oba puts up one hell of a fight. Like, I'm talking like they go 20-30 minutes in a complete war. Like, they absolutely destroy each other, but Brock barely gets the win. Barely. I think that's actually okay. I think that I could see that happening, because Brock is the Beast. Losing to a former UFC, WWE World Heavyweight Champion, the man who defeated The Undertaker, the man who destroyed John Cena. These are Brock Lesnar's not just a guy. People like to say that, oh, you lose a match, you're buried. It doesn't, your career's over, you're buried. A loss to someone like Brock is still important. Like, it's part of a character. Like, Oba can take a loss and build from that and be like, look, I didn't beat the Beast, but I now know what I need to do to get to that level. And then maybe the next few months is him getting to that level. Now, I'm talking about like ifs and buts, right? But realistically, the two of them are going to go to war. It's going to be a very competitive match, I hope. And I think Oba probably is going to get the win. In fact, I really hope actually that Oba does get the win. So in terms of my predictions, I'm hoping Oba gets the win, but I can definitely see a world where Brock actually does get the win. It's a really interesting what if scenario here with the two of them, because Oba's on the teetering edge here of like becoming a major star, and winning in this match would make him a major player. But at the same time, it's like, we want that. I know we want that, but does we want to pull the trigger on that right now? It's hard to tell. It's hard to say. There's a lot of moving parts in WWE that a lot of people don't consider, and you have to think about things like like SummerSlam. You know, what if Gunther is going to dethrone the Beast at SummerSlam, then does losing here affect, you know, that run? It may not. I don't know. On to something a little bit more exciting. No, just as exciting. We have the 6-person, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so yeah, 6-person ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, we have JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Penta, Javon Evans, Rey Mysterio, and Rusev. I think this is a no-brainer that Penta just retains here. I don't see why anyone else would win. I mean, you could maybe make an argument for Javon, just to kind of break that trend of bouncy guy goes into ladder match, because I was talking to my fiance who's a new wrestling fan about this, and you know, I was explaining that like Javon is in a really interesting position where he's kind of booked like a Kofi Kingston, he's booked like a Shelton Benjamin or a John Morrison, in that he is the babyface high flyer who will always get cheered, and he'll have a really cool spot. I would imagine he's going to jump off ladders and do crazy shit during this match. But at the same time, he never wins. He never ever wins. He could break that trend here. He could win. I think there's probably a very good chance that he could win. I think he's going to do a Javon, what's it called? A cutter? The OG cutter? I think he is going to do the OG cutter off the top of a giant ladder or something. I think it would be some stupid spot. I bet you. If anyone's going to do stupid shit in this match, I really do think JD McDonough, Dragon Lee, Javon are just going to be throwing themselves all over the place, because that's kind of just what they do at this point. There hasn't really been any real build or storyline to this. They had a tag match on Raw. Rusev destroyed everyone. That's the extent of the storyline, to be fair. Yeah, there's no reason, no rhyme or reason for this match to be happening either, because Penta literally just came out on Raw and said, I want a ladder match at WrestleMania, and then this match kind of happened. So again, people complain about Gunther and Seth having no storyline, that this match likewise has no reason to exist, but it just does. And it's going to be really fun. I think it is going to be really, really fun. But if going down the prediction mindset, I think either Penta retains, because there is no real reason for him to lose it right now. Especially when he is most likely going to be going on to Triple Mania in a couple months, so he may as well keep the belt until Triple Mania. Maybe he can defend the belt in the main event of Triple Mania, or whatever they end up doing. I have no idea. But there is also a really good argument to be made about Javon also potentially winning the title there. What would Javon do with that title? I have no idea, but he'll do something. That takes us on to an interesting match, one that fans are a little bit divided on, understandably so. We have Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Now, Trick, I have never seen anyone, ever seen anyone really, like, pick up the crowd reaction as quick as he has. If you look at someone like Dragon Lee, or even Rusev to an extent, these people have been around for a long time. Even Aleister Black, they've been around for a long time. People know who they are, but people just don't care. Like, Rusev does nothing. He loses matches, but he's cool. He beats people up, but like, there's nothing really more than that. Aleister Black, likewise, he's goofy and he's spooky, but he loses a lot of his matches, so people don't really take him seriously. Trick Williams is unbelievable. And again, talking about that total package, his looks are great. He wrestles in a really fun way. His promos are fantastic. He's such an inventive guy, a clear talker. And like, he could potentially be a major star, you know, moving into the next generation of superstars. I mean, Sami, as I said, Sami's telling a really interesting story here, a more elaborate story that may or may not tie into what I was saying about Cody earlier. Sami screwed over Carmelo, you know. Carmelo Hayes was the United States champion. He could have been facing Trick Williams, but Sami swooped in to the open challenge and won. And Sami admittedly said, like, look, Melo, I'm not going to give you your rematch because it's an open challenge. You sign up for this. But the way that the way that Sami won that match was dubious, controversial to say the least. So I understand, like, they're telling a story here about Sami turning heel to get what he wants. He's a desperate man who is desperately trying to keep that championship and get a spot at WrestleMania, and he's done it by being a bad guy. He's done it by bending the rules and cheating, which he considers to be right. And I like that. I kind of like that aspect of he thinks everything he's done is right, but as the crowd reaction is saying, and as we're saying, you know, we don't like it when people cheat. We don't like it when somebody swoops in and takes someone's Mania match, you know, from them. And I think Sami's rightfully getting booed. And I think WWE knows what they're doing. They definitely know. They know for sure that they're building Sami to be a heel, which actually puts this match in a really interesting position, because that means that this match is heel versus heel, technically. Even though Trick is going to get a massive reaction being a heel, and then Sami's, everyone's going to boo him because he's a dick. So my prediction for this is I think Trick's going to win. I think Trick is genuinely going to win. I think he's going to have an awesome reaction. I think that's going to be the feel. Of all the matches, I think that will be the feel-good moment when Trick wins the United States Championship, because I think the crowd will just explode. I mean, there's always going to be something at the end of this. I think on the other end of this WrestleMania, people will be talking endlessly about all the things that WWE did wrong. But, like, there's lots of things that WWE are doing right. And obviously, we can be annoyed about ticket sales, and we can be annoyed about, you know, maybe the too many ads and the build to each match being a little bit weaker than in previous years. But look, there are some years where nothing happens. It's just how it goes, you know. Every match has a defined storyline, and this is actually one of them that has like a pretty good storyline going into it. So every storyline just has like its own pace, and some WrestleManias are just quieter than others, unfortunately. But I'm only saying this because there is a good chance that Sami does retain in this match. And if Sami does retain, then obviously everyone's going to say, "Oh, Trick, they've ruined Trick, and this is ridiculous, and WWE doesn't know anything." And it's like, well, maybe there's a bigger plan for Trick moving forward, and we just have to be patient to see what that plan is. Maybe the powers that be think Trick's not ready. Maybe they don't want Sami having such a short run with the title. I don't know, but we'll see. My prediction is Trick, though. I think Trick will get the win during this match. So that takes us on to Rhea and Jade. Now, this is a really weird storyline that's been playing out because this has different graphics. Okay. Yeah, this has been a really interesting storyline that plays out because Jade has formed a new alliance with Michin and B-Fab. Well, she's got red hair, long red hair. B-Fab. So B-Fab and Michin have formed this kind of alliance here with Jade, and Rhea had Io, but for some reason, for weeks, Jade was just has been destroying Rhea every single week, and Io never turned up. And then eventually Io did turn up, but as a thing that has gone wrong for WWE, people now are like, oh, Io's not at WrestleMania. That's odd. Even though Io does actually have a storyline going on with like Io and Asuka. So it's weird that match didn't make it onto WrestleMania, but these guys do. Either way, I probably don't have much to say, right? So Jade's been destroying Rhea for the longest time. Io has now finally got involved. Hasn't really even the odds though. Jade is still getting the one up on Rhea, and we'll probably see the finale of this one tonight or SmackDown. I imagine, considering that Jade has been so dominant in this feud, they have really tried to put over Jade as like this kind of like force to be reckoned with, that like to the point where they've basically ignored the fact that Rhea is a multiple-time women's champion. They basically just keep disregarding the fact that she's like, Rhea is not a new competitor. She has been champion multiple times before. She's had reigns. She's had big wins. She's a major player. But in this storyline, Jade just constantly talking down to her and beating her up, and it's really odd to see Rhea in that position, considering that Rhea's really where I would consider like kind of like a Cody, you know, like she is a main eventer. She's been around. She's done it all. She's won Chambers. She's won Rumbles. I think she's won Chambers anyway. Like, she's done it all. She hasn't been in a Hell in a Cell match. We need to get Rhea in a Hell in a Cell match. But like this whole storyline where they've put Rhea against Jade and Rhea has been on the kind of the back burner is a really strange position to be in. But I can only assume that the idea is that we make Jade look good for multiple weeks in a trot, make Jade look good so that Rhea can get the win at WrestleMania, and then when Rhea does get the win at WrestleMania, Jade doesn't go into the shadows being like, oh, I lost to the newcomer. Like, again, it's so bizarre, so weird to me that it's like I said about Brock, you know, Jade losing to Rhea is not an embarrassing thing. Rhea is a very, very good competitor. I don't understand the position here of like Jade will take a big loss here if she loses to Rhea, which is not true. So, ranting aside, I think Rhea's going to win. I think Rhea probably is the safe bet here. I think it would actually be quite harmful for Rhea to lose here, considering that Rhea has had no upper hand for multiple weeks now. Not once during this whole storyline has Rhea beat Jade. Maybe once she had her leaving, but even then it was like, I think it was like a promo. It wasn't even like a physical thing. So I don't know. I don't think. We'll see. I can only imagine that Rhea will probably get the win. We shall see. But that will take us on to now. I really wish that they didn't announce this ahead of time, but we do have Dominic Mysterio versus the Demon, Finn Balor. Now, this has been a storyline. This is a storyline that should have happened last year. Obviously, Mysterio had that amazing Fatal 4-Way where he won the Intercontinental Championship match last year, and he got cheered, and everyone was like, they should turn Dom heel, which they should never do for the time being anyway. Don't turn Dom heel. And I really wish the crowd would stop cheering for him because he's a heel and he's a really good heel. And I think that we should just embrace that rather than constantly cheering like bad guys. But anyway, I like the storyline that's played out here, especially with Finn being put into the main event scene and having that taste of the main event once more, and then realizing that maybe the Judgment Day is actually holding him back. And the fact that Finn almost beat Punk twice is a really interesting testament to like Finn's abilities, obviously. And Finn realizing that, yeah, maybe I am a main eventer. I am better than that. And I guess Finn was met with this dilemma of, do I try to elevate the Judgment Day as he has been doing, or does he go alone and try to become that main eventer that he thinks he should be? But obviously the Judgment Day would not take that. Like they don't want that. So I do appreciate that, like Finn having those thoughts of leaving the team, which then led to the team disbanding, or not disbanding, but kicking him out, is really, really interesting. And it's obviously led to Finn or Dom got the upper hand on Finn, and basically saying like, you know, I taught you everything you know, not everything that I know. And I do appreciate that they're bringing back the Demon. I do like the Demon. I want the Demon. But part of me just wishes this wasn't announced ahead of time, because I do think that the Demon being announced, or the Demon being a surprise at WrestleMania, would have been very, very cool. But they could have just alluded to it, you know, instead of outright announcing it, just alluding to the Demon rather than outright here's a picture with a demon on there and announcing him as the demon. That's my two. As you're hearing through my yapping, my issues are definitely not with the match or the booking or anything like that. I think it's been an awesome storyline, and I think it's a match that should happen. It should have happened a long time ago. My only gripe through this whole thing is that I just wish that they didn't announce the demon. That I could probably keep repeating myself, but that's the only thing. As for who's winning the match, you're damn right it's the demon. Finn Balor as the demon is definitely not losing this match. Now, I have a feeling he probably did lose the match, or he lost a match as the demon at some point, but this ain't it. This is not one he's losing as the demon, that's for sure. And that leads us on to our main event then. So we're talking about Punk and Reigns. Now, this has also been a very interesting storyline where something that happened a couple years ago with Roman and Cody was that they essentially had, like, I guess it kind of happened with Cena, actually, probably more than anything. But Cena had his retirement. Let's take Cena as an example. Cena had the retirement tour. He was going around all the different countries and cities and basically doing a promo to say goodbye to each of the towns that he would never wrestle in again, which made sense in the context of John Cena's retirement tour. And obviously with him main eventing WrestleMania with Cody, he was going around, he was saying bad things, and the two of them would have constant head-to-heads every single episode on Raw, the occasional SmackDown. Every single week they would have promo head-to-heads because Cena obviously on he could wrestle, but like he didn't want to get injured, on a reduced schedule, going around all the different cities and stuff. Now that seems to be the basis now for every storyline. Every main event for WrestleMania now seems to be, we are going to every town and we're going to do a main event segment that is a promo. I have never felt more fatigue during this storyline because both Punk and Roman have obnoxious entrances that go on forever, that every single week I'm like, okay, skip Roman's entrance because that is literally about 10 minutes long. Skip Punk's entrance because that's also about 10 minutes long. And then they have about 3 minutes worth of talking where they've had weird conversations where Punk slagged off Roman's dead dad, and Roman reacted accordingly, but then he wouldn't apologize for it, and then Roman called Punk old, and then Punk snapped, and then it was very strange, a very, very strange storyline. And then only just this last week on Raw, Punk has finally kind of gone back on everything he said. He basically apologized and basically said, like, I was wrong for everything that I said. Let's have a good match. Handshake. Very strange situation to be in. But it does feel personal, I think, in some way. I think Punk maybe realized on Raw that like we've been doing the wrestling thing, we've been the promoter thing, we've been doing we're doing business here. We're doing business here, but maybe it's time to be a man. I apologize for all the bad things I said, blah, 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 blah. And then Roman's like, nah, fuck you, I hate you. We're main eventing WrestleMania and we're going to war. Fair enough. My prediction's probably on Roman, if I'm being honest. I mean, Roman in the main event of WrestleMania is like, he wins, man. He wins. So I would expect that. But Punk winning WrestleMania could also be pretty good. But I don't know what either get from this match. This is my least exciting WrestleMania main event. If I'm being honest, I probably would have put Cody Orton in the main event of night 2 because as cool as Punk and Reigns is, it just isn't a match I'm particularly interested in. It isn't. When they first announced it, or when Roman won the Rumble and it was kind of hinted at that could be the vibe, I was like, man, I just don't know how I feel about that, you know? I just don't think it's an overly interesting match. But Cody Orton actually is an interesting match, and there's a lot of history and a lot of story to be told there. So, yeah. interesting one. But that's it for WrestleMania. That is it for the entire card, really. I don't have a picture of like every match. Oh, there it is. I could have just kept this up on screen the whole time. Anyway, it's very blurry, but this is the whole card. So I think my favorite matches that I'm looking forward to. I mean, there's quite a lot of good matches on the card, to be honest. McIntyre, Fatu. Night one's a little bit of a sleeper, I guess. The McIntyre Fatu, which is the second match on the cards, and then the main event, and then all the other matches will be fine. They'll be good. But I'm not overly excited about them. I guess like McIntyre, Fatu, and Rhodes and Orton are like the key matches I'm particularly interested in. Talking about night two, I think we've got quite a few actually. I'm quite obviously excited for Oba Brock. I'm excited for the ladder match as well. Zayn and Williams, I'm curious to see how that plays out. And Demon versus Mysterio is also an awesome match. Punk and Reigns is going to be cool, but again, it's not my kind of match. So, yeah, that's WrestleMania in a nutshell. I hope everyone has a great time. I hope they all watch and enjoy it. Shall we get some wrestling on the go on our own merit? My OBS disappeared. Let's hold up some WrestleMania. Some WrestleMania 21. Actually, the first track here is going to be licensed, so I need to keep music on so that I don't get copyrighted in typical YouTube fashion. I need to turn off music. No, don't listen to any of that. Oh no, I've loaded the credits by accident. No. Oh no, that's even more copyrighted music. Don't listen to the copyrighted music. No, everyone, close your ears. There you go. Oh, ladies and girls, the last that you know. Oh my god, that didn't even mute the music. Alright, well I guess I'm getting copyright strikes because I didn't turn the music off. Welcome in Pro Wrestling Shoot, how are you today? Is it custom soundtrack? Night on Earth! Okay, I actually can't turn off music apparently. Well, hey, this is WrestleMania 21 in a nutshell. What an absolute shit show this game is. If you know anything about this game, it is an acquired taste, shall we say. Let's do a singles Hell in a Cell match, shall we? I'll see if I can showcase some of the wonderful weirdness of this game. Let's do Taker versus Triple H. Why not? The song's on SVR. So WrestleMania 21 does share a lot of its soundtrack and commentary from SVR. I think it was made on the cheap, if I'm being completely honest. There's a really interesting story behind this. So I obviously just put up my review. I put up my review last Tuesday by mistake. It was supposed to go up this Tuesday, but anyway, if you do want to know more about the game, you can go check out my review, which is done way better numbers than I thought it would have.
Here with Jerry the King Lawler, and I couldn't be happier.
It's a really good game in some aspects. Like, I think the oh god, I can't hear myself think over the commentators.
I'm gonna tell you, King, I've been looking.
I think visually the game looks amazing.
I completely agree with you.
I can't remember how to reverse either.
Heck of a match.
And the game's on like hard difficult as well, so I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked.
Would agree to a match with the Undertaker.
I've always liked the Hell in a Cell matches more on games like this, Day of Reckoning over SVR. Yeah,
In the back of his head.
oh my god, yeah, this is definitely on hard difficulty.
Sportsmanship, for God's sakes.
Oh my god, stop Irish whipping me. This, oh my god. I do like the Hell in a Cell matches in the earlier games more than the current ones. I think that the current version of the Hell in a Cell is not very good. It was good, and I think the ragdoll physics that they've added into 2K26 probably really help. But these are more fun. Oh my god! I think in Day of Reckoning as well. I think it's Day of Reckoning. You can actually climb the inside of the cage as well, which is pretty. Oh my god! He just keeps Irish whipping me. Oh, also, this is fun, right? So whenever I go, if I have to quit this match, it's going to take me to this screen, and this screen means the game's crashed. So the only way to recover is to restart the whole console. So I have to physically turn off the console, turn it back on, and then we go back into this fucking game. If I was playing it on a legit Xbox, it wouldn't crash every time, but it does. It does crash all the time when you're playing it on an Xbox 360. The cell was much bigger on Day of Reckoning. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can climb the inside of the cage in that game, and you can like do some really cool stuff. I think you can climb the cage in Raw 2, maybe? Raw 2 had a humongous cage. Is it going to load? Maybe? There we are. I think the game was on a really hard difficulty, and as much as I would love to play a match on the hardest difficulty, I really don't. So we're not going to do that. We're going to change the gameplay then to... So I had issues. I had a lot of issues on... I'm going to put it normal, on easy. I'm not fucking around on this one. Had a lot of issues during the review to make someone submit. Now, somebody in the comments, an amazing person, said that you can only do submissions when the person's body limb part is red, which I thought was really interesting, because you can complete the bar. You can, when the submission comes up, you'll see it in this match. If you complete the bar and it looks like they're going to tap out, they just don't. And it turns out that, yeah, you just need to, apparently you need to have their limb damage to be completely nada, completely red. So let's restart the match in a way that I can actually do anything. Which is your favorite Hell in a Cell match? I'm trying to think what my favorite Hell in a Cell match would be. Or just like the game. What game is your favorite Hell in a Cell match?
From Oakland, California.
Controversially, like, I always go to Here Comes the Pain, but like, Shut Your Mouth has a really good Hell in a Cell. It's like, it's just the right size as well.
This one has the potential.
I realize that Shut Your Mouth and Here Comes the Pain are probably like the exact same cage, but my point stands.
And winning is great, but it's hard to enjoy it from a hospital bed.
Ow.
These guys have done their homework on each other, JR.
So yeah, this is WrestleMania 21. It plays very similar to the other like kind of Nintendo games, I guess. Obviously they are way funner to play and way better controlling, but you do have you have like your quick grapples by pressing A, and then you can do like heavy grapples by holding A. You can do your strikes by pressing X, and I don't know what B and Y does, but let's find out, shall we? I think B's a drag, Y is run, so you do have a little bit similar controls to SVR. Here we go. So if I do, oh no, he's not. But you can see how quick the bar goes down. I mean, that's it. That was a submission, right? How was that not a submission? But yeah, it doesn't seem to work because the limb was not red. If the limb was red, oh, spine on the pine, spine buster.
Good God Almighty!
Good God Almighty!
He's wearing him down.
As the Lord is my witness, he is broken in half. How do you? Oh, you can climb the middle rope apparently.
Something big, JR.
Oh, big leg drop. Now, to do, oh God, how do you lift someone up? To do a thingy, I didn't do that correctly. You need to press X and A at the same time. Oh, I don't remember. Okay. Now you can press X and A at the same time. Nope. Or maybe it's X and B? A and B?
A human body can
I only played the game a week ago and I've already forgotten how to do it.
There it is.
There we are. Yes, A and B at the same time. And that will trigger a finisher. There is a tombstone pile driver that may... Oh no, it doesn't. Sometimes it goes into a automatic pin in these games, but not in this case. Since we are having some fun here, let's escape the cage and see what the top of the cage is like. Also, cage door, something that 2K hasn't quite figured out yet, is the cage door. I do think in 2K26 they've made it easier to break the cage wall, which is nice. I do appreciate that. But the cage door is where it's at. Because then you can just leave the cage of your own accord. You don't have to constantly throw your opponent into the side of the cage, which can be a little bit annoying. Now, you can see there are 4 very obvious panels here that can be broken. It is actually just one giant panel, though. So unlike kind of the current games or unlike the SVR games, there isn't like 4 separate panels to break. It's literally just one gigantic panel. Oh, he threw me off the cage walls. Now, it doesn't do a whole ton of health damage, but it's not ideal.
You got all of that
If you're wondering, you can also do a finisher through the top of the cage, but it is a little tricky. We'll try. We'll see what we can do. Oh my God, he kneed me in the face.
competitors are some of the greatest athletes you'll find in any sport. That's it. That's how you bring your opponent down. You've got to focus your attacks and pick your opponent apart. You take out an arm or a leg.
You can also do taunts as well using the right thumbstick. They generate your momentum bar, which I should say, your momentum bar is the fire meter under your health bar. So that's how you get a finisher. Once that heat bar, I don't know what it's called in this game. I think it is. It's called heat. Once your heat is maximum, you're able to do a finisher.
He could be bleeding internally from that one.
I don't mean to keep doing the same move. It just keeps going that way. I think you can also do different grapples. If I do a strong grapple and then press X, yeah, that's gonna do like a strike. Ow. I'm trying to break the panel a little bit so I can do my finisher and be really cool, but he's not cooperating here. See, that DDT is good, but it's not bending the panels. And that kick doesn't do anything either. You do get blood in this game, so you can bust open opponents and do... Well, you can actually get really bloody in this game, actually. The best example of that would be like a hardcore match. I'll see if I can do a TLC match or something after this. Okay, I legitimately cannot break this panel. Choke slam. Yep, very cool, but it bent the panel.
1,
You can do pinfalls on top of the cage?
3.
I did not know you could do pinfalls on top of the cage. Well, there we are. You can do the choke slam, you get the replay. The replay does the slow-mo effect, just like the main thing did, which is pretty cool. The ring also shakes, even though you're above the ring, which is a little bit weird. But yeah, now it's gonna play the end of the match animation, and then the system's gonna crash.
Superstars compete at the top of their game, and we were not disappointed.
Cool, so I earned some money. You can use the money to unlock things like characters and arenas, and then boom, game crashes. So yeah, you have to do that every single time you want to play this game. This happens on emulators, this happens on Xbox 360. If you do play the game on like regular hardware, like an original Xbox, it obviously doesn't crash every time. But man, it's a right slog. Like, it's actually on my list of games to play for like season mode Sundays. Like every Sunday we do a season mode playthrough, and WrestleMania 21 is one that I do want to pick up. But man, playing the game with it crashing after every match is so draining, especially when you sometimes in recording, like when you're recording, you get into like a flow state of like talking and like just the vibes that you're going for, and you always lose the vibe when you're playing this game because you constantly have to like keep restarting the game, which is especially with, like, I've got like an ADHD brain as well, so I'll restart the console and I'll pull a TikTok on my phone, and then like the next thing I know, half an hour is gone, and I there goes all the vibes of the recording. So it's really annoying when that happens, but here I am complaining about a game that's 21 years old. Let's do a Fatal 4-Way. I'm not logged in. See, you also have to earn money in the game. You have to go into your profile every time you load the game. Oh my god. So, like I said, if you want to unlock things, you have to earn money to unlock things. If you want to do that, you have to go into your profile every time that you load the game, which is just exhausting. Anyway, let's go back to that Fatal 4-Way, I think a TLC match. So we have quite a roster of people as well. We can talk about the roster a little bit. So we got Baptista, The Big Show, Booker T, Bubba Ray, doesn't look a whole ton like Bubba Ray, Charlie Hash, Chavo Guerrero, Benoit, Jericho, Christian, Devon, Eddie, Edge, Eugene, Garrison Cade, Hurricane, JBL, Cena, pretty good Cena model as well, Kane, Angle, Hardy, Matt Hardy, it's just Orton, Dupree, Mysterio, Rhino, Flair, RVD, Scotty 2 Hotty, Shawn Michaels, Shelton Benjamin, Spike Dudley, Tajiri, Triple H, Undertaker, Val, and then we get into the women, Jazz, Lita, Miss Jackie, who I don't even know who that is, Nydia, Stacy Keibler, Trish Stratus, and then back to Baptista again. So it's an okay roster. A lot of people criticized my review for the way that I treated the roster, but I just don't think there's that many stars in this roster. It's kind of padded out by a lot of kind of nobodies, like Garrison Cage, Eugene, the Hurricane, Dupree. Like, I mean, it's okay. I just feel like there's a lot of people in here that like, there's a lot of people I don't use, and I just think that like maybe it would have been better had there been maybe some better players. But then again, this is just the roster at the time. This is what WWE was like, so they're also just at the mercy of what's available at the time. So let's do our main event for tonight. Is a Fatal 4-Way Did I choose the TLC match? Maybe. Shawn Michaels, Booker T, Chris Jericho, and Shelton Benjamin. And Booker T is way bigger than everyone else for some reason. I have no idea why. So, you like load screens? What brings you here on this Friday afternoon? This might never load. Are we good? No?
The following
there we are.
Four-way match is scheduled for one fall.
Oh, I might have just picked a fatal four-way. This was not TLC, just fatal four-way.
San Antonio, Texas, the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels.
Oh, those fireworks are rough, man. Well, for what it's worth, again, repeating myself, this is what I said in the review, but the arena and like the character models all look amazing in this game. Like genuinely, this would have passed for next gen at the time.
Making his way to the ring from Houston, Texas, weighing 56 pounds, Booker T.
But yeah, like the stages with the screens and stuff look amazing. Just the textures overall all over the place are amazing. The character models also look fantastic. The crowd looks okay, I guess. It probably looks on par, maybe a little bit better than SVR, just because of how like you can see the lights cast over the crowd and stuff. It's not really something that SVR was able to do. But the Xbox had a much better graphics processor, so it was able to handle things like lighting simulation a lot better than the PlayStation could have at the time. But I mean, like, you see, it's got the authentic lighting rig above the ring, and the stages look good. You got good light beams. The actual environment and again the character models look amazing. It's only when the bell rings and you have to start playing the game that you're like, oh my god, this game is rough. Also, Jericho in the purple, he has had that purple. There was like a whole stretch of games where he had that purple, and it was just obnoxious. It was like this game, Day of Reckoning, maybe. I think Here Comes the Pain. I think he's got purple, like the exact same purple. I would bet as well that when he comes back to the games, I bet they put him in the purple. Because surely, you know, at the end of his career, he's going to sign a Legends deal, right? Surely.
From Orangeburg, South Carolina, weighing in at 248 pounds, Shelton Benjamin.
Jericho seems like the type of guy who would. Jericho seems like the type of guy who would sign a Legends deal.
A big Southern California.
Oh. Did the game crash? See, this is the thing about this game. Is sometimes it's just loading, and sometimes it's just crashed. Oh. I pressed the Xbox button and I think it crashed. Yeah, it crashed. Well, WrestleMania 21 isn't it just fantastic? This is what it's really like to play WrestleMania 21. My review made it look decent in terms of playability, but it's really not playable. It just constantly crashes. Well, I mean, if it's not working, and to be honest, I'm gonna have to start heading out soon because I'm going out to a thing after stream. So, I think we'll just call it there. We just yapped a little bit about WrestleMania and we played some WrestleMania 21, but god damn it, it's not working for me, so I can't be bothered to figure out today. But yeah, we'll just call it there, I guess. I hope everyone enjoyed WrestleMania. Whether you've enjoyed the build or not, WrestleMania is always a really fun time. It's always fun to have, if you're a type of person that has friends over, like I do, I have friends over, and we're going to have a grand old time, and I'm sure I'm going to annoy the neighbors making lots of noise. And yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. And as I said, I'm actually, like, I'm in the same boat as a lot of people. I think the build this year has been a little bit muted. I think it's a little bit quieter. It's not as exciting as it could be, but the matches they've got this year I think are actually really, really good. So I do think we're in for potentially a sleeper WrestleMania. I think we're in for a good one. So yeah, I hope everyone has a great weekend, and I'll catch you guys next week for another stream, but I don't know what it's going to be. So yeah. All right, have a good one. Bye for now.